Hello everyone. I apologize in advance because today I'm going to be bursting what seems to be a pretty big bubble for most people. Your ancestors, your recent ones, so not like hunter-gatherer fucking sub-Saharan tribe hunting wildebeest days, but your great-grandparents and their great-grandparents, anything within that range, they were most likely not carnivores. So anywhere from like fucking industrial revolution to like uh your your grandparents, let's say, they were not just constantly spamming steak and eggs, unlike what a few people may have you thinking. Now, this video isn't about whether or not these foods are healthy. Steak, eggs, some of the best things you can eat for sure. But what I'm going to be telling you here today is not to cope if that you can't have access to these foods, or if like your diet is little bit off, to not let that give you an excuse for the gym, for your productivity, for whatever else, because your ancestors may do with fucking considerably less. Let me get through a few points. The first thing is like how much food they had. Second thing is what they had available versus what we have available now in fucking supermarkets. The third one, hold on, let me see. I have a few racist, funny jokes written on there, but also a few points. So yeah, also the fitness culture just in the very past few decades, as in like 1950s to today, because they had a lot of things right, and they adhered. If you looked at their old school diets, they adhere more closely to what you might believe that people had back then. So the first thing, these people who are online today making videos about nutrition and diet, but I don't I don't do this thing I'm gonna say, but I'm one of those people. So they tell you a lot of times, like Liver King, Hamza is a significantly better person to listen to about this than Liver King, because Liver King is full on charlatan mode. They will tell you that your great grandparents had a bunch of fucking beef, a bunch of eggs, cooked in butter, were carnivore basically, no seed oils, no eggs, no fucking grains, no whatever. So let me tell you, conversation that I had with my great grandma's sister, or like I half had. My mom kind of translated it a little bit because I don't speak that fluent of Hungarian. I speak Hungarian, but not that fluently to where I can understand her. Who's a very, very alert, super sharp, super resilient old lady who literally tanked like a car crash, um, at her age, which is like absolutely, I don't know, that's like superhuman levels of endurance. But basically, what she said about the diets of people, because she was actually a cook. She cooked for big parties, big groups of people, and so she knows all about that. How it's very very hard work, but she also knows what people ate, obviously, because she was the one preparing the food. So the first point is that people had way less to eat than what they do now. Now, an average person following a fitness diet, whatever, may wake up like a fucking 3 eggs, couple slices of toast, avocado, yeehaw. That's like relatively healthy. You can argue keto, oh no, toast, whatever, fuck you. Yeah, sure. If you're cutting or you want to go more keto mode, yeah, you take out the toast. But this is just a pretty accurate average diet that I can make up for what someone might have today. And then they go to lunch. They may have some sort of fucking sushi that they bought from like a wherever. They may have a bowl with rice, bunch of stuff. They may pack themselves a sandwich, very nice. They may have just like some fruits and a bunch of bunch of snacks, maybe a little bit of jerky. And they come home. They have their biggest meal of the day is dinner, which is fucking, I don't know, large pizza, large rice bowl, large whatever. Basically, this is the pasta, whatever else. This is the big starchy meal, or steak and potatoes. This is the big fucking starchy meal that you like feel tired after and do whatever. So this, people say, is bad because you have a bunch of refined carbs, bunch of seed oils, the fucking microplastics, whatever else, and you're not staying fasted, you're not staying alert, whatever. What is true about this is that in the past, people probably did not have these humongous fucking breakfasts, these humongous uh, things early in the day, but they did have something. I have the Havamal somewhere right here. It's like this Old Norse book. I don't know where, because like the bookshelf is right fucking behind me. It's like repurposed for this, but I fucking forgot the text somewhere. Anyways, so the Havamal is like a collection of sayings from, well, it's supposed to be from Odin, so who was like the Old Norse god of a bunch of things. And in that, one of the pieces of advice he gives is, yeah, don't ever leave the house without eating something. So people did have a breakfast or something um, adjacent to that, definitely. And in Hungary, yeah, it's a big thing. Where I'm from in Hungary, unrelated to the Norse, whatever, is just corroborating from different lands. It's also a big thing, but it's small. And then in Italy, France, places like that, they definitely have a coffee, and then a small pastry, whatever they have access to. But they don't have a humongous meal, or they may have one egg or a couple of eggs. And back then, this is what my great grandma's sister, my great aunt, I think, very old lady, what she said is, yeah, people may have like an egg before they go to work, may have some like a small charcuterie board, whatever, just so they can make it through the day. Because before this fucking online work shit, that like what I'm, oh, the screen died, lol. Okay, I'll have to find a way to fix that. But basically, let me just take that off for now. But basically, what I'm doing right now is like setting up a nice background and just like speaking to you about what I know. This is a fucking easy ass job compared to what people did back in the day. So they definitely needed some things. I didn't have a breakfast today. And it's easy for me because I just go to school, which is easy as shit, and then I come home, which is easy as shit. Basically, our lives are way easier compared to back then. And so back then, they would definitely have something to start their day off, especially like in the Havamal, what it says, like the fucking Vikings were like tending to the fields, whatever. Like, okay, they did the occasional raid. Yeah, they needed some food to fucking get them going, get them through the day, and mostly because they didn't have a humongous dinner, uh, or it's one or the other. Yeah, they had something in the morning, is what I'm trying to say with this, but that thing of yeah, them having a humongous meal in the morning is a complete fabrication. And so in that way, it's congruent to the people say nowadays. It's like, oh, fast, go do whatever. But they did have something. Now, for the rest of the meals of the day, this is where the main bullshit starts. Is where Hamza once said, like, yeah, what would your great grandfather have when he came home from work in the factory? His wife would cook him a big steak cooked in butter, and then they would fucking have that. First of all, no. Steak, even now in these not really first world countries, if you go to Eastern Europe, pretty much everywhere, steak isn't fucking good, right? Steak is really bad there. Uh, the quality is shit. The marbling is shit. Yeah, you name it, it's wrong with it. Sometimes it's spoiled, whatever the fuck. So people have a lot more ground meat dishes, a lot more pork, a lot more chicken, some fish, a lot more cured things, like things from a fucking can, but like not ultra processed, but like pickled, like they pickled themselves. People have a lot more of that, and a lot more of like a cold cut meats rather than just a big steak. So if you're from some of these places, Hungary, Poland, Slovenia, yay. Serbia, God forbid. Bosnia, God forbid. Albania, God forbid. Croatia, yay. Basically, any of these places, your great grandfather probably did not have a big fucking steak. That's just a humongous lie because cows are also super expensive. And in those places, yeah, again, they're more likely to use their meats for what's it called, like a big stew, and or ground meats. And then in a bunch of Asian countries, I'm pretty sure the meats are cut sliced very thin, and then Russia, you just like starve. And then yeah, but steak is really a big American thing. So that's kind of like the meme you see on it's kind of like the meme you see on TikTok where it's like, oh yeah, what I cook for my blue collar husband, and it's just fucking humongous ribeye 16 eggs. People couldn't afford that on a daily basis unless they were like extremely fucking wealthy. So yeah, sure, if you're a part of nobility and your great grandparents were a part of that, they may come home to a whole fucking suckling pig that they just like hunted whatever with their dogs. Their dogs also caught a bunch of ducks. They put that on the spit roast as well. But other than that, people may do with a lot less. People may do with stews and a lot of vegetables. They eat a shitload of vegetables because there's a bunch of farmland in these places. Now, what is also true is that people's health in places like Hungary, some people are very healthy, but like some things are just like really not good, right? Like the oral hygiene. You can see this beautiful gap right over here. Yeah, I obviously okay, that has nothing to do with hygiene. That's genetic. But like, there's the meme that like fucking peasants farmers have really bad teeth oral hygiene, and these places in Eastern Europe definitely exacerbate that because once if you're just cabbage and potato maxing and fucking onion maxing, then that's not very like there's something missing there clearly. But people did still, uh, yeah, that's kind of a it's kind of a point against me, which kind of yeah reduces the credibility a little bit there, I guess. but I can admit that being the case. But what's also the case is that so many fucking amazing inventors, philosophers, poets, whatever else, did their work, their brain intensive tasks off of these things, right? They didn't all eat like kings, they didn't all have steak and eggs. They lived based off of these fucking, yeah, like what I said, like basically garlic and onion mixing, and like you eat cabbages and carrots and like parsley, fucking parsnips and carrots and whatever. They didn't pay much attention to this. Just like how like in the army, you're gonna, the stereotype is I'm obviously not in the army, look at me, but um, it's expected that you're going to do a shitload of push-ups, you're going to do a bunch of cardio, you're going to do whatever else. You're not going to go in the army and be like, oh yeah, but have you actually considered the iliac pull down for fucking maximum iliac fiber activation of the lat? No, they'll bitch slap you and they'll not rescind. They'll like have you unceremoniously like uncharitably, what's the word? They'll basically kick you out because like who the fuck cares at that point, right? And in this, like you'll get fit, you'll do these things even if they're not optimal on paper. In the same way, even if you don't have steak and 16 eggs a day, you're 100% capable of doing a lot. And this is the whole thing with the counting calories bit. I'm not the most huge fan of counting calories just because, well, I'm biased here because one, I've never done it, but number two, how did the people of old get jacked? Like they just ate a bunch of nice food, and if they got fat, mostly they didn't care. Honestly, most of the strong people, like if you look at the old time strongmen, like the circus freaks, whatever else, they didn't give a fuck. They were just like fat and they enjoyed food. But when bodybuilding became a thing, then like they didn't exactly. I can't imagine them counting calories until like the golden era. Like I can't imagine Steve Reeves fucking counting calories. But again, being shredded wasn't a big thing back then. But the emphasis wasn't on that. The emphasis there was on having nice quality whole foods, and they put a big emphasis on that, whereas a bunch of these intellectual workers and fucking like even the commoners, like the peasants, fucking field for the sure, landowners, they probably didn't pay as much attention, must pay as much attention because they also ate what they had. Eating what you have is like sounds very foreign to us because we're here. You go into a store, you get fucking every kind of fruit from like South America, Africa, Brazil, whatever the fuck. So, bro, you can get it stuff from anywhere. You can get like Japanese strawberries, pears, whatever the fuck else. Man, the possibilities are endless. You can get these processed like these Korean ready to make fucking noodle dishes. You get ramen. You can get the Chinese hand pulled noodles. You can get so much shit. But when you're here in like early 1900s, late 1800s, whatnot, yeah, sure, a bunch of people were industrialized, but also a bunch of people were living on the farm, in which case they lived off of what they produced, which again isn't gonna be 150 grams of chicken thigh, 150 grams of sweet potato. Yeah, you had a chicken, which you used up all the parts of, including the carcass, not just the breast, including the all the organ meats, whatever else, including the fucking testicles sometimes. Because in Hungarian, there's a testicle soup from the rooster, which is I've never had it myself, but I can only imagine it's very tasty. So people ate what they had, and sometimes that wasn't a lot. And the point here is that they were able to make do with it. So you don't need the shittery of having the perfect optimized macros, perfect optimized whatever. It's amazing. And I'll make videos on it. It's great if you can do that. But if you can't, and if you like miss a meal, sorry, I just may have like ear R worded some of you by rubbing the mic there, my bad. So if you can do that, do not worry about it whatsoever. Because man, your great grandpa who could fucking like again the grip strength, like he would do one of those grip strength tools and get like 95 kilo just like not even trying. Um, man, he lived off of these very very simple foods and not a lot of it. Like when I know scientifically it's not supposed to make sense because of energy expenditure or whatever else, but you can 100% placebo yourself. Like I'm 100% convinced that you can placebo yourself into gaining muscle, even if like technically you're at a deficit, but like you don't know it, right? If you're like some village boy and just focus really hard on it, train really hard on it, believe in your heart of hearts that you can make it work. 100% there were people who got jacked, who got sinewy, stringy, striated, even who got big off of less food than people eat these days. Because these days, man, people are carrying around their tubs of rice, their tubs of pasta, whatever, and it's like, bro, you're still small. I'm still small, bro. So it's something else is the solution. Maybe it was their hormonal profile, like the microplastics and all that didn't weren't really a thing. Well, plastics weren't a thing way back in the day, just period. But they didn't care about that, and they cared about what they could control. They did their work. They fucking yeah, it was way harder. They just did their work. Um, if you plug their stuff into Chronometer, like I really like Chronometer. If you plug their stuff into there, I'm sure it wouldn't uh, blow back the most optimal results, but they still did it somehow because the human body can adapt very, very well, and especially in these situations where the food is scarce, you can still make do. And here in the modern world, food isn't fucking scarce. If you live in the US, the opposite is the issue for many people. So, armed with this knowledge, you should be like, oh shit, number one, it's way easier than for me than for any of my ancestors to get the food I need. Number two, I'm gonna be fine even if I skip a meal. Like, a bunch of times without even really realizing this, I would just like go to school, then go to the gym, not really have much, or just maybe have like a fruit or something, just because there wasn't much time, and the school lunches suck dick, and I just didn't want to have those. And I came back and I was fine, like I didn't die, right? It's like, oh, you have to eat something or you fucking die. No, yes, our great grandparents, their grandparents went out for a long day of work. They brought some like cured bacon with them. They brought some onion with them. Fucking cut those with their rusty on knife. That was strong, very nice. This isn't a rusty on knife. This is a very clean knife. So they probably had that, cut that up with a rusty ass fucking pocket knife, whatever. Had a like 20 calories from the onion, like maybe 150 from the bacon. Then they had some dry bread that they brought, and they got strong from that, bro. They did well. They lived good lives. Not nearly as good as, obviously not like our lives now are hundreds of times better, or like 100 times better at least, because of all the safeties and protections and new medicine and whatever else we have. But they got their work done, and they did the things they needed to for their families. Maybe the mental health wasn't the best, but that was, I think, unrelated. So that just goes to show you can make it work, dog. You really, really can make it work, and it doesn't have to be this perfect, ultra optimized split. Now, the bodybuilders of yesteryear we're pretty close to what, in the silver and golden era, we're pretty close to what we would think of them as having and being and doing for their health and for their nutrition. What I mean by this is that what we think of as like what we think of as people had it back in those days, in the early days, um, the infancy of bodybuilding, things like that. What we think the average person had, that's probably what the bodybuilders had. So like from the encyclopedia of bodybuilding, um, Arnold had his fucking half-pound of meat every couple of hours, had his couple of eggs, had his shitload of milk, which reminds me I'm gonna get some after this. I'm still running Bull Mastiff, my Alex Brownlee, and I need to get those calories in. But you can probably tell my brain is a little bit fucked this video because I'm digesting. Um, but hey, it's time to become a Bull Mastiff, and then after that we get shredded. So besides that, Steve Reeves had his big ass fucking orange juice, lemonade, whatever else, with honey and salt. That drink that he used for pre-workout. Reg Park, Lord knows what he had. And they ate a lot of food. Yes, they did eat a lot of food. The strongmen especially just fucking like what? Everything. And people thought that was really like odd. People thought that was like, oh wow, you fucking eat everything. Like you look at Arnold Schwarzenegger and his friends in Pumping Iron, they go to a restaurant, they're like, and he's like, now I'll have 3 steaks and I'll have 4 burgers, and it's like that's an exorbitant amount of food. That's a fucking very big amount of food. Not everyone ate like that. Um, these were the role models that like people looked up to and were like, wow, what the fuck, they eat all that, because the average person just didn't have that much food, and you can make do without that much food. But now that you have access to it for a relatively cheap price, yeah, I know the meme about like, oh, now eggs are so expensive, whatever, but like the standard of living for the price is like unmatched today compared to any other era. So you can definitely get yourself what you need. And even if you don't have everything optimized, it's fine. It's fine if you don't have steak and eggs for every meal. It's great if you can afford it, if you can make it, you can cook that, whatever else. Obviously, I can fucking show you how to do that. I have shown you how to do that. But man, I don't think I've shown the steak and eggs. I think I've shown them separately. But bro, our ancestors didn't fucking live off that, right? In their agricultural days, and were able to achieve a lot of good shit. And so we're also able to do that. Except now we have a bunch more opportunities than them. So don't use that as an excuse if you can have that one specific diet. Thank you very much. Hopefully you got something out of this, even if the video was a tiny little bit all over the place. Remember, you may not have a lot of time, but you do have enough. Peace.